which could easily just run away from me very, very quickly.
Single shot?
Yes.
To the head?
Yes. Almost immediately, out came the first Iraqi soldier. Now, more soldiers came out. I aimed at the next one, fired, and there was a click. And I thought, what on earth do I do now? Because I was totally out of control and had no pistol. You know, I was in dire straits here. I was hoping to be in a position to just magically come upon a key and have some chance, hopefully, of doing something about this, getting away. But the firing stopped, and I was just waiting there, expecting to get hit any second. It seemed like an eternity, and I was racing, thinking, how do I just handle the situation now? Another guy came up beside him, and why didn't he fire? You know, why didn't these guys fire right then?
You just killed several of their mates.
True. And I mean, I don't know.
According to the log, a rescue helicopter finally took off on Saturday evening, 48 hours after the patrol had expected it. It flew after a third message had been received. Possible further communication from Bravo 20 using TACB to a passing F-15 aircraft. Op mounted tonight to pull them out. Chinook returned without completing the mission due to bad weather. By then, the snowstorm may have swept south in the direction the helicopters were coming from.
We launched our helicopters into the same conditions, in which they were pretty horrific snowstorms. US helicopters helped us. We also committed some of their high-tech assets into the search. And as it turned out, wherever we looked, or wherever the beacons indicated the patrol was, they weren't.
By this time, it was too late. Mal had been captured, Vince was dead, and Chris Ryan was heading for Syria. Meanwhile, Mike and McNabb's other section of the patrol were fighting for their lives. They'd been tied down in a gunfight with the Iraqis near the Syrian border. One of the patrol was killed. Another died of hypothermia, having tried to swim the Euphrates to safety. Mike was lucky to survive.
The first round hit my leg. It's quite strange actually, because there wasn't really any pain initially. It was like this huge wave of nausea went over me. It was, I mean, really intense. Certainly more intense than I've ever felt before. And it was like somebody take a sledgehammer to my ankle and just smashed it on there, but there wasn't any pain. I thought, gosh, that was a bit strange. And the bullets are still going around. I sort of got into the old rugby's position of, I don't know what, put my arms around my head to try and protect my head, and not that it would have done anything. And then another round went through my arm, and then the pain sort of came along, and you know, I started just screaming my head off.
Mike and the others were captured and dragged off to join Mal. Mal tried to protect the patrol by inventing a cover story.
I was shuffled up to the wall aggressively by these guards, one on each side, and a poker was actually put right against my eye and just pressed in against my eye there. And I was told I had been lying and I had been wasting their time. Did I have anything more to say to actually save me? Now, the first time this occurred, this was quite an unnerving sort of situation to sort of be in. And I was thinking, okay, you know, I will probably lose an eye. I'll still be alive. You know, I still have one eye at that stage. I don't know what will happen after that. I thought, with that thing really pressing down on my eye, horrible situation to be in, I thought, no, if I admit at that stage, with all these threats having taken place, you know, this is after the first day of interrogation, that in fact I had been lying, it'd be too easy for that guy to just poke that eye out. I maintained my story straight down the line.
I was certainly beaten. I was beaten quite a bit, actually. In the first interrogation, I was beaten a bit. And then what they did is they took you aside and left you alone with the guards. And I was left alone with them for a couple of hours, and they really softened me up the whole time when I was by themselves like that. Just punching the head and kicking you and just keeping up the pressure, as it were, for when the next 5 interrogators came in.
The war ended a month later amid scenes of appalling carnage as American planes strafed the Iraqi column fleeing along the road to Basra.
Good evening. The headlines at 6 o'clock. Iraq has freed 10 Allied prisoners of war as a goodwill gesture.
We captured really the spotlight of the world's media on the day, and the two of us were amongst 10 Allied prisoners of war who were released initially.
In the years that followed, Sir Peter de la Billière led a parade of former SAS soldiers who immortalised the heroic exploits of Bravo 20. But in 1996, fearing a tide of SAS memoirs, the MOD introduced a special contract that binds all members of Special Forces to a lifetime's duty of confidentiality. The contract is quoted in this letter from the Treasury Solicitor, which was sent to Panorama to warn us off this programme. The contract is draconian. This solemn undertaking binds members of the SAS for the rest of their lives. They're not allowed to disclose or say anything about the work of Special Forces without express authority from the MOD. They're even bound to notify the MOD immediately if anyone invites them to breach the contract. The contract isn't optional, it's compulsory.
We were aware through the regimental grapevine that this confidentiality contract was about to come out and that we'd have to sign it. Also, that we had to sign the thing or we were out. It was as simple as that. It was fait accompli.
Not much of a choice, is it?
Well,
sign or get out.
No,
Sign or be sacked.
It's not being sacked from the army.
It's been sacked from the SAS.
But the SAS is a volunteer force. And if you want to serve in the SAS,